Saints and your Seattle Pacific University Falcons. Now let's meet the starting lineup, starting with the St. Martin Saints. The Saints are coached by John Killenbeck. His assistants are Lauren Herseth, Joe Holman, and Taylor Virtue. Here are the Saints. Starting junior outside hitter, number 1, Ewalani Kamaka. Freshman outside hitter, number 3, Annika Briggs. Freshman middle blocker, number 6, Bridget Bourgogne. Freshman center, number 8, Alyssa Bartlett. Captain, senior outside hitter, number 9, Rachel Gondrzik. Senior redshirt, number 12, Megan Vernoy. And libero, senior, number 21, Courtney Meisner. Now, ladies and gentlemen, get up on your feet. Let's meet the starters for your Seattle Pacific University Falcons. The head coach of the Falcons is Abby Wright. Her assistant is Corinne Wild. Here are your Falcons. Junior outside hitter, number 3, Gabby Otto. Captain, senior center, number 7, Simone Tran. Junior outside hitter, number 9, Jaden Hooker. Redshirt senior opposite, number 10, Haley Gaines. Senior middle blocker, number 12, Sean Crespi. And sophomore middle blocker, number 17, Gabby Stagmuller. With libero, senior, number 4, Amanda Ganetti. Those are the Saints and the Falcons. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem. Here we go.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's live stream from Royal Brougham Pavilion on the campus of Seattle Pacific University in Seattle, Washington. It is GNAC volleyball time here on a Tuesday night as the Falcons play host to the St. Martin Saints. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on SBUFalcons.com. I am Andrew Harvey on the call for you tonight. You heard the starting lineups. Falcons coming to tonight's match 5-6 overall, 3-1 in GNAC play. They are unbeaten in their last 3 matches and have won their last 9 sets straight. St. Martin Saints, on the other hand, 2-8, still looking for their first win in conference play. 0-4 their ledger to this point. Falcons on the right side of your screen in white with black trunks, and the Saints in red and black on the left side of the net. We are all set to go. SPU Falcons have won the last 32 straight matches against the Saints, stretching back to 2001. Falcons will serve first. It's Gabby Otto, team kills leader.
Gabby Otto. Make it loud in here.
Oto's first serve cross court. And by Odo for Tran. Back post, Haley Gaines goes cross court. That one off the ceiling, dug out by the libero, Courtney Meisner. Bumped over the net, Gennady underneath it. Tran, she'll set, coming for Jaden Hooker. Hooker over hits, and it's gone out.
Serving for the Saints, number 9, Rachel Gondrzik.
Rachel Gondrzik, senior outside hitter, and captain serving. Haley Gaines going at Gondrzik. Put near side for Kamaka. And set into the net by Stegmoller after the quick dump over, courtesy of Bridget Bourgogne. Second serve, Gondrzik. Odo. Tran sets, looking for Hooker, and Hooker hit into the net. That one blocked by Bourgogne. Gondrzik. Odo goes to ground to dig that out. Tran bumping over to Hooker. She'll float it. And Kamaka. Odo. Tran wants Hooker once more. That one gets through the block. Snuck it between the hands of Bourgogne. And the Falcons record their first point of the match. Maddie Batiste subs in and will serve. Little floater. Bourgogne going back to Kamaka. Batiste, her bump goes straight over the net. Batiste, Tran, Crespi with authority down the middle. Too hot to handle for Courtney Meiser. Batiste, second serve. Low ball in, Meisner for Kamaka. And there's a net violation. We're level at 3. Pardon me, it's a St. Martin's point, net violation by SPU. Meisner to serve. Knuckleball to Odo. Tran for Batiste. Pardon me, Jaden Hooker went cross court, missed outside.
That's out of bounds. Last touch by Seattle Pacific. Point for the Saints. Number 21, Courtney Meisner serving.
Odo. Tran underneath for Haley Gaines, and Gaines finds the back corner.
Inbound on the kill by Gaines. Point for the Falcons. Haley Gaines serving.
Not clear if a timeout was officially taken there. And John Killingbeck wants that to be reviewed. Doesn't feel that Haley Gaines managed to sneak that inside the line. Sean Crespi, who had 11 blocks total in SPU's back-to-back sweeps last week, was the GNAC Defensive Player of the Week. The 6'2" senior had 7 block assists on Thursday against Western Oregon, and then on Saturday she had 4 against Concordia Portland, along with 9 kills at a .368 hitting percentage. After the challenge, looks like things will stand. It's 3-5 in favor of the Saints. Service from Gaines. And a service error. Flips things back to the Saints.
St. Martin's gets the point. In for the Falcons, number 11, Aaron Gould.
Tran for Hooker. Gondrazic dumped over the net. Tran dumps it right back and scores.
And the left-handed quick kill. Point for the Falcons. Mally Donahoe back in for Seattle Pacific.
Mally Donahoe in for the Falcons. Junior out of Willamar, California. And a 5'9" outside hitter. Donahoe. Low serve from her. Kamaka is there. Teed up. Partial pancake dig from Aaron Gould. Didn't quite have to go all the way to the ground, and the bounce just went away from Gabiotto. Kamaka serves and commits the error.
Falcons with the points. Gabby Stegmore in for Seattle Pacific. Serving number 4, Amanda Ganetti.
Ganetti's serves. Comes to Kamaka. Tipped up to Gondrazic. That one bounces off the judge in the corner, but was out of play.
Ganetti serving.
Another long ball from Ganetti. Finds the back line. Give her an ace.
Ace for Ganetti. Point Falcons. Tied at
And we're level at 7. Kamaka. To the backside, floated over by Molly Sehos. Gabiotto going back, comes off the blockers. Kamaka tipped up, and that one sneaks through, courtesy of Annika Briggs.
Saints point. In for St. Martin's, number 6, Richard Burgoyne.
Service from Briggs. Tran setting up Odo. Briggs is underneath it. Jordan Keene off the blockers from Gondrazic. Tran back for Odo. She floats that ball just over, and it's dug out beautifully on the initial attempt by Keene. No one else able to get there for a second hit.
Haley Gaines returns for SBU. Simone Tran, your server.
Tran serves to Kamaka. Keene tips it back. Attempted clearances blocked from Sehos. Gondrazic gets it over. Donahoe. Tran backside for Haley Gaines. And that one off the hand of Kamaka on its way through. Falcons take the lead, 9-8. Tran goes to Gondrazic. Keene back for Gondrazic. That one hit wide. It looked like it might have taken a deflection initially, but the referees awarded it as SPU's point. Simone Tran, service to Gondrazic. Keene. Kamaka skies up and gets that one over. Stegmoller goes back to Kamaka. This one sailing backwards and out of play. Kill from Gabby Stegmoller. That'll lead to a timeout on the floor. John Killingbeck wants to talk things over with the St. Martin Saints. SPU leads at the break, 11-8. apologize for pulling out the courtside audio there during timeouts, but since we are also live streaming to YouTube, we can't have the music coming through or else this stream will get copyright struck. Simone Tran with the service on the restart. Meisner underneath it. Kamaka gets it over the net on the let. Bounces up. Gennady manages to shovel that away. Kamaka. Keene near side. And Briggs can't get to it. 12-8 Falcons. Tran serves. Kamaka. Keene along for Gondrazic. Floated over the net. Tran goes to ground. Gennady keeps it alive. Gabbiotto hit it over. And snipes the back corner. Just a dying bird from Gabbiotto. Looked like it was going to keep on carrying. Just had enough topspin to nick that sideline. 6 consecutive points now for the Falcons, who've climbed out to a 13-8 lead. Tran. Gondrazic. Briggs back for Gondrazic. Cross court. Odo is there. Gennady back toward the net. Odo misses wide that time. Breaks up the point streak for SPU. And the Saints take over. Alyssa Bartlett, a first year out of Salida, California. Cross comes to Gennady. Give her an ace. Bartlett. Tran. Up for Odo. Hard hit ball. Still kept alive by Gondrazic. Bumped over by Burgoyne. Tran backside for Gaines. That one straight into the block. Burgoyne and I believe Annika Briggs going up big at the net. Gennady. Tran. Stegmoller. Hoping to pick on Bartlett there. Kamaka does enough to get it over. Tran. Stegmoller blocked once more. Consecutive blocks now for Bridget Burgoyne. Bartlett can pull the set level with this. Got some wicked knuckle action on her serve there. Difficult to deal with for SBU. Odo manages the return. Near side for Keene. Took a deflection, and forgive me, it was Megan Vernoy, the senior outside hitter, who scored it and pulled it level at 13. Service ace, Bartlett. Called lead. You can see Amanda Gennady get out of the way of it. And Saints take the lead. And Abby Wright wants to take a timeout to talk things over with SPU. They trail 13-14 here in set number 1. Five straight points now for the Saints. Bartlett serving, looking to extend this lead. Bartlett goes at Gennady, and that's going to be another ace. Tran setting up for Gaines, and Gaines pulls a point back for the Falcons.
And the close by Gaines. Point for the Falcons. Jaden Hooker into the match. Gabioto serving.
Odo and Meisner. Tipped up for Gondrazik, and Gondrazik answers right back. Gondrazik serves, that's left, and it's an error.
Service error, Falcons point. Moving the Falcons, number 8, Manny Batiste, number 12, Sean Crespi. Batiste serving.
Service from Batiste. Finds the line, it's an ace. We're tied at 16. Dying ball from Batiste. Kamaka is there. Tipped up for Vernoy at the backside. Big block from Sean Crespi. Jaden Hooker in there as well. Third serve, Batiste. Kamaka. Tipped up. Hammered in at Sean Crespi at the net once more for the Falcons. Batiste. Meisner. Pushed along for Kamaka. And she snuffs that past Tran. Back and forth we go here in set number 1. Falcons have a 1-point lead as Courtney Meisner, the senior out of Vancouver, Washington, gets set to serve. Standing serve from Meisner. Tran. Crespi wanted the back line, found it. Haley Gaines to serve. Gondrazik pushed along by Bartlett, blocked by Sean Crespi. Second serve from Gaines, dealt with by Meisner. Bartlett pushes along for Kamaka. Kamaka off the blockers and scores. A great first set on hand here at Royal Brome Pavilion. Megan Vernoy, long-standing serve from the back of the gymnasium. Gennady now tipped up for Gould. Comes off the hands of Vernoy in the middle for Gondrazik. She floats this outside, got too much of it. Sometimes with those ones when you're hitting them away from the net, just catch them a little bit too flush. 21-18 SPU. Mally Donahoe checks in and will serve. Donahoe. Gondrazik. Push back along. An awkward point, but well scored by Molly Sehos, a senior out of Auburn. Ileana Kamaka. Serve to Donahoe. Tran. Crespi just punches it over. Back for Sehos, and Sehos just misses outside. St. Martin's takes its second timeout. They trail 22-19 here in the first set. 22-19, Falcons 3 points away from a set 1 victory. Ganetti's serve comes to Kamaka. In the middle for Gondrzik, and Gondrzik finishes that off beautifully on the setup from Hannah McKee. Annika Briggs, standing serve at Ganetti. Tran, Gabby Odo. Kept alive by the Saints, who can't get it back over the net. 23-20. Tran serves. Last time she was behind the line. Falcons scored 6 straight. They only need 2. Kamaka. Gondrzik smashes that off the net. And a net violation. It's set point. Tran serving in. Kamaka. Set back side for Seahose. Dug out back over the net. Now Meisner. McKee. Seahose goes cross court. Tran is there. A whistle's gone. And it is St. Martin's point. Burgoyne in and will serve. Forgive me, it is Alyssa Bartlett. Last time she served, Saints scored 7. Bartlett serves, and it's a service error. She had 3 aces the first time out. Not so careful the second time, and SPU claims victory in game 1 by a score of 25-21. We'll take a break here at SPUFalcons.com and return with set number 2. We are back here at Brome Pavilion for the start of set number 2. Falcons claimed victory over the St. Martin Saints, 25-21 in the first set. That is their 10th straight set that they've won. Gabby Odo led the Falcons with 3 kills. Haley Gaines also had 3. Tran setting for Crespi. Bartlett, Meisner, Megan Vernoy. She'll float it over, but it's outside the line. And is SPU's point. Service from Gaines. Comes to Kamaka. Bartlett punches it up. Gondrzik gets it over. Tran now for Crespi, who missed it wide. Took a minute from the judges. And it is 1-1. Gould digs out the serve, and it's been carried. Pardon me, double hit. Rachel Gondrzik, a senior out of Salt Lake City. Her second serve. Jaden Hooker off the blockers. Hooker once more. Punches it high this time. Gondrzik gives chase. Kamaka all the way at the far end of the net. Hits it into the stanchion. Boy, that was a heck of a set there by Alyssa Bartlett. Pushed that all the way across court. Kamaka just wasn't able to redirect. Donahoe serves. Meisner. Bartlett gives chase. Kamaka gets it over. Tran for Odo. Off the blockers, dug up by Kamaka. Meisner pushes it back. Gondrzik forces Gennady to go to a knee. Sean Crespi off the blockers. It comes out sideways. And SPU scores. Donahoe serve. Megan Vernoy manages to push that back into play. Odo wants it. Meisner is there. Bartlett back for Vernoy. And Vernoy overhits it.
Out of bounds, point Falcons.
Donahoe to Meisner. Bartlett goes backside Vernoy. Odo with the block. Donahoe. Tran for Crespi. She's got a solo block there. That's Bridget Burgoyne, the first year from Chino Hills, and 6'1" in the middle of the net. Meisner's serve comes to Odo. Tran. Crespi's right there. Partial block. Comes back for Vernoy. Rolls up the shoulder. Odo floats that ball over. Meisner now coming back for Vernoy. Donahoe there once more. Odo, cross court, goes a lead off the net. And Kamaka dumps it. Tran for Odo. That floats over. Kamaka underneath it. Bartlett pushes it up. Vernoy into Sean Crespi. And now finally, it gets away. Crespi, fourth block of the match by my numbers. Gennady serve for Kamaka. Bartlett backside Vernoy. And that one finds the back line. Stegmoller just overhits that ball. We're level at 5. Vernoy to serve. Stegmoller floats that one. Bartlett is there. Kamaka goes at Odo. Tran dumps it herself. Diving is Vernoy to get there. Gondrzik comes off the net. Gould is there. Tran pushes it along for Odo. Comes off the blockers and scores.
Last touch by St. Martin's. Point Seattle Pacific. In for the Falcons, number 10, Haley Gaines. Simone Tran serving.
Tran serves in. Meisner's ball comes back over for Gennady. Tran now back to Gaines. Trying to victimize Gondrzik. And it will not make it back over the net from the Saints.
Gaines on the kill. Point Falcons.
Simone Tran, long ball from her. Kamaka underneath it. Push back to Seahose. Comes into the block. Haley Gaines, big at the net.
Last touch by St.
Gabby Stegmoller in there as well.
Point Falcons.
Tran. Kamaka gets it back and scores by putting it between the blockers. Gennady. Tran, the awkward set. Stegmoller. I mean, Haley Gaines came for that ball. Looks like she swung at it and missed as it bounced on the net. Second straight point for the Saints. Kamaka overhits. SPU takes over the serve.
In for SPU, number 9, Jaden Hooker. Serving, number 3, Gabby Odo.
Odo serves. Kamaka, McKee. Gondrzik tips it into the net, but it's blocked.
That lands on the St. Martin side of the floor, and a point for SPU.
Odo's second serve. Kamaka, McKee, near side for Seahose, and scores.
Off the right side by Seahose. Saints point. Serving for St. Martin, Sonica Briggs. Into the match, number 6, Bavarian.
Monica Briggs, a standing serve, comes at Gennady. Simone Tran, Jaden Hooker. That one deflects off a couple St. Martin's players. And SPU pulls it back.
Point for the Falcons. Back in, number 8, Maddie Batiste, number 12, Sean Crespi.
Maddie Batiste,
Serving.
opposite outside hitter. And sophomore from Portland, Oregon, set to serve. Floated to Gondrzik, McKee, Kamaka, and she's hit it wide.
Out of bounds. Another point for the Falcons. Batiste serving.
Dying service. Kamaka does well just to get to that ball. Seahose floats it toward Crespi. It's blocked at the net. Pop back in. Seahose sets it over. Tran to Gaines. She'll float that. Seahose goes to ground and keeps it alive. Kamaka trying to set up Gondrzik and double hit. And that is going to lead to a timeout from John Killingbeck and the St. Martin Saints, who trail 13-8 here in set number 2. Falcons lead 13-8. Have won 5 of the last 6 points, including 3 in a row on the service of Matty Batiste. Batiste, Kamaka, McKee, near side of Seahose. Push back in, Gaines, Tran, now Hooker. Comes back inside, McKee along for Gondrazic, cross court. Batiste is there, Tran into the middle. Gabby Odo from behind Crespi. And Seahose bumps this over. Batiste, Tran, Gaines. Meisner digs it out. Gondrazic a chance to return off the hands of Tran. Kept alive by Odo. And Gaines into the blockers. Rachel Gondrazic and Bridget Burgoyne come up big at the net for St. Mary Martin's. Bartlett in and will serve. Gannetti, and won't get to that one. Bartlett, another ace. I have that as her 4th of the match. Bartlett to Gannetti, Tran, Crespi goes up and hits that right at Vernoy. Bartlett bumps it over. Tran back to Crespi, and Bartlett won't be able to handle that one. Sean Crespi finishes with authority, and it's 14-10. Haley Gaines to serve. And it's an error. Gondrazic serving. Gould, Tran for Hooker. And that one off the fingertips of Bridget Burgoyne. Sails to the back of the gym, and it's an SPU point. Donahoe now. Floating serve, Meisner is there. Bartlett sets, Kamaka hits that into the net. Gould goes to ground, tipped back in by Vernoy. Tran now, back for Odo. Cross court from her, and she scores. Gabby Odo loves that little zone about 4 feet from the net. And if she doesn't decide to smash it, she can just float it over there. Really difficult to deal with. Donahoe. Bartlett for Kamaka. Blocked at the net by Tran. Bartlett, they'll try Vernoy on the other side. She floats that ball over. Odo recovers from the block. Did that take a tip? Doesn't matter. Found the back line. Donahoe, low serve from her, it's an error. Saints trail by 5. As Courtney Meisner will serve. Gannetti, Tran leaves it for Crespi. Crespi just hammers that off the blockers. Gannetti, floating serve from her, give her an ace. Meisner went to ground but couldn't keep it. Another floating serve. Getting the first and third balls, Briggs. Now it's Stegmoller, and Stegmoller overhits. 19-13, Vernoy to serve. Standing serve, it's an error.
Service error. Falcons point. In for Seattle Pacific number 10, Haley Gaines.
Simone Tran will serve. Haley Gaines checks in for Aaron Gould.
Seahose and McKee back in.
Seahose and McKee returning for the Saints. Tran, that ball into. They're setting up Gaines. Takes a bizarre deflection. McKee keeping it alive. Kamaka. Donahoe. Tran for Odo. And Odo smashes that past Meisner. Nothing the libero could do. And that will lead to the second timeout from St. Martin's. They trail 21-13 in set number 2. Well, I'll be right, and the SPU Falcons used about 15 seconds of that timeout. I imagine the message was, just keep doing what you're doing. Simone Tran to serve. Gondrazic. McKee keeps it near side. Dug out by Donahoe. Odo hits it over. Meisner's there. McKee back to the middle. Kamaka. She floats it. Gennady. Tran hit into the net. And unable to get there. Nicole Chubanov. The player who hit it into that block. 21-14 as the Saints will serve. Lalana Kamaka sneaks that over the net. Tran coming inside for Chubanov. Kamaka does admirably just to get to the back of the gym, trying to keep that ball alive.
Odo will serve. Hooker is in.
22-14, Gabby Odo to serve. Odo, low ball from her. Kamaka. McKee wants Gondrazic at the far side. Jaden Hooker underneath it. Tran back for Hooker. Comes off the block. Seahose cross court. Tran underneath it. Gennady. Haley Gaines from long range. Seahose now lots of time on that one. And gets it off the hand of Jaden Hooker. Saints trail by 7. They put in Kylie Alos, 5'3" freshman out of Mililani, Hawaii. Alos. Tran setting up Hooker. Off the blockers. Kamaka went for that ball, just tipped it past Alos. Chabanov sneaks that over the net. Meisner, McKee, backside Seahose. Cross court and scores off the outstretched hands of Simone Tran. And these teams trading points now. But that's not something St. Martin's can afford to do right now at 23-16. They'll need to string together a couple. Alyssa Bartlett to serve. And the error. Gives the serve back to SPU at set point.
Okay, fans, get up on your feet. Let's go. Here we go. Come on.
Haley Gaines to serve
Will serve
for set number 2.
Get loud in here. Cheer 'em on.
Gaines commits the error going into the net.
Service error. Stay up. Stay up.
It is 24-17.
Serving number 9, Gondrazic.
Rachel Gondrazik. Her serve goes far side to Gabby Odo. Tran in the middle for Crespi, who finds the line and finishes things off here in set number 2, 25-17. We will take a break here on SPUFalcons.com. But first, let's take a look at some other news from around SPU athletics. Freshman Alden Massey scored a first-half hat-trick last Saturday, powering the SPU men's soccer team to a 5-0 rout of Hawaii Hilo in the final non-conference game of the season. Mario Vukic and Alex Mejia also scored for the Falcons. Goalkeeper Kari Whitney got the shutout. GNAC's schedule begins this week with a trip to Northwest Nazarene on Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific Time and a game at Concordia Portland on Saturday at 4 p.m. Pacific. Freshman Kaylee Mitchell made a decisive move approaching the mile mark and pulled away for a 22-second win at last Saturday's season-opening Central Washington Invitational cross-country meet. Kate Lilly, Danielle Holmberg, and Catherine Walter were all in the top 5 as the SPU women won the team title easily with 24 points. In the men's race, freshman Colby Otero led SPU with a 7th-place finish. The next meet is the Charles Bowles Invitational on Saturday, September 29th in Salem, Oregon. In spite of a 13-5 advantage in shots, the SPU women's soccer team fell short in its non-conference finale at Biola last Saturday night, 1-0. Falcons will look to bounce back when they begin GNAC play on Thursday at St. Martin's. Kickoff is at 3:30 p.m. Then it's a game Saturday at Central Washington starting at 7 p.m. Final volleyball team concludes a 4-match homestand on Thursday when the Montana State Billings comes to Brome Pavilion. The first serve is it's 7:30 p.m. It'll be half an hour later than normal because of all the new student orientation activities going on around campus, so make sure to get out for that one. Should be an electric atmosphere. And Falcons and Billings Thursday at 7:30 right here in Brome Pavilion. All the latest news on Seattle Pacific Athletics is just a click away at www.spufalcons.com. Get all the Falcon sports news you can't get anywhere else on the day it happens at www.spufalcons.com. We'll take a break. 3 minutes listed between now and the start of set number 3. Falcons up 2-0. Falcons will serve. We start set number 3 here at Brome Pavilion. Set number 1 is by a score of 25-21, and set number 2, 25-17. Looking for the sweep here against St. Martin's to improve to 4-1 in GNAC play. Gabby Odo leads all players with 7 kills. Sean Crespi right behind her with 6. Molly Seahose pacing the way for the Saints. She has 5. Odo floats that ball into Kamaka, dealt with by McKee. Kamaka gets it back over. And after an awkward first 2 touches of set number 1, Kamaka with an emphatic 3rd touch. Error from Kamaka. Maddie Batiste will serve. Low ball Batiste, Kamaka, Seahose. Kamaka gets it over to Odo. Tran in the middle for Crespi. Right off the hands of Meisner. McKee, Seahose floats that in. Odo, Tran toward the net. Odo goes for the far corner. Meisner plays it. McKee for Gondrazik. Great rally going here. And finishing things off with a rocket is Haley Yanes. Second serve, Batiste. McKee sets for Seahose, blocked by Jaden Hooker and Sean Crespi. Batiste, Meisner, and ball winds up under the net.
That is an ace and a point for the Falcons.
It's an ace for Maddie Batiste. Kamaka, McKee, back for Gondrazik, and dug out by Meisner on the block. Gondrazik gets it over. Gabby Odo, Tran, back for Gaines, and Gaines drops that on the back line.
On the right side. Falcons point. Serving is Batiste.
Batiste. Difficult ball for Gondrazik. McKee. Jaden Hooker gets that back over the net. Gondrazik going right away. Tran for Hooker. Did that take a touch? It did. SPU's point. 6 straight points for SPU. Bring in Vernoy and Alyssa Bartlett.
Batiste serving.
Batiste served to Meisner. Bartlett near side for Annika Briggs. Batiste digs it out. Popped up for Jaden Hooker. That comes off the blockers and scores.
Left side kill, Jaden Hooker getting it done. Point for the Falcons, up by 6. Timeout.
And that's going to lead to a timeout from John Killingbeck. Falcons have scored 7 straight, and they lead 7-1 in set number 3. 7-1 SPU. Maddie Batiste continues to serve. Kamaka. Her return comes back over the net. Odo hits it toward Briggs. Now they want Gondrzik, and Gondrzik blocked at the net by Haley Gaines and Sean Crespi. Batiste to Meisner. Kamaka pushes back to Gondrzik, and Kamaka rung up on a double hit.
2 hits, Falcons point.
Batiste. Kamaka just dumped over by Bartlett, dug out by Odo, and Hooker forced to bump it over the net. Now Vernoy. Bartlett sets. Gondrzik. And finds the back edge. Breaks up a 9-point streak from SPU. Saints trail by 7. Annika Briggs to serve. Standing serve to Odo. Tran wants Hooker. Blocked right off the hands of Bartlett, but out of play.
Point Falcons.
Ball in. Meisner. Bartlett. Gondrzik. And Gondrzik snipes that one between Gaines and Ganetti.
They get the point in is Aaron Gould for Seattle Pacific.
Aaron Gould in for SPU as Gaines checks out. Alyssa Bartlett serves. Give her an ace.
Ace for Bartlett and a point Saints.
Bartlett. Tran for Odo. Back at Bartlett. That one comes off the ceiling. Meisner. Vernoy tried to go down line with that one. Fanned off the outside of her hands.
In for Seattle Pacific, number 18, Mallie Donahoe.
Mallie Donahoe comes in to serve. Low serve from Donahoe. Meisner, that one over into the stands. It's an ace.
Point for the Falcons.
Donahoe over to Meisner. Bartlett for Gondrzik, blocked at the net. Tran pops it up. Ganetti hit over toward Odo. Odo smashes that off the hands of Rachel Gondrzik. And that will lead to John Kinleybeck's second timeout. Falcons still lead by 9. It's 13-4 here in set 3. Lead 13-4 as they serve. Melly Donahoe to spin this ball in. Meisner. Popped up, floated over by Vernoy. Ganetti. Tran for Crespi. Crespi off the head of Meisner, off the head of Kamaka, and bumped back over by Bartlett. That's using your head, and Tran takes advantage of some of the confusion. But that one deflected off Meisner and Kamaka's head. Heads up play, if you'll pardon the incredibly unintentional lame pun from Bartlett to get that ball back over the net. Donahoe follows it up with an error. Rachel Gondrzik. Tran for Odo. And right back at the hands of Gondrzik. Odo has scored. Amanda Gennady checks in and will serve. Falcons can really pull away here. Gennady in for Kamaka. Bartlett back to Kamaka. Comes off the hands of Tran. Keeps it within 10.
In for St. Martin's, number 3, Annika Briggs. Serving, number 21, Courtney Meisner.
Meisner. Service to Odo. Tran. Odo. And Vernoy went to set that one. Ball dropped down quickly on her. Simone Tran to Gondrzik. Bartlett in the middle. Tipped back by Chubanov. Now Vernoy off the hands of Odo, and she scored.
Serving number 12,
Vernoy to serve. Donahoe, Tran, Chubanov. That one floating toward the benches. Kamaka gives chase but won't be able to play it.
Back in. Gabby Odo serving. Returning from St. Martin's, number 5, Family Ellis.
Odo serves, floated ball in, Meisner to ground to get it. Bartlett just goes to dump it over the net. Chubanov has time to readjust. Jaden Hooker going cross court. Couple of players run into each other, and Kamaka won't get there as that one bounces into the benches. Falcons take an 11-point lead. Odo, little floated serve in. Well, either too little float or not enough. It's an error. Kamaka. Ball toward Odo. Tran, Chubanov. Awkward corkscrew ball on the outside of the right hand from Chubanov. And she scores.
Back in is number 17. Gabby Stegmuller returns.
Gabby Stegmuller checks in. She'll serve. 19-8 SPU. Stegmuller at Gondrzik. Bartlett back for Gondrzik. Stegmuller. Tran. Hooker. Pushes backside. Kamaka is there. Bartlett back for Gondrzik. Into the blockers. And SPU 5 points away from finishing this match.
Point for the Falcons. Maddie Batiste returning.
Batiste in. She'll serve. Low serve Batiste. Kamaka. Tipped over by Annika Briggs. Batiste underneath it. Odo back toward the net. Jaden Hooker underneath it. She goes cross court and misses outside.
Saints point. Annika Briggs will serve for St. Martin's. Gennady returns for the Falcons.
Canadian gains in for SPU. Briggs serve to Odo. Off the ceiling. Gennady back toward the net. Hooker right into the blockers as Bartlett's there. Smashed down by Bridget Burgoyne. And forgive me, a net violation. As they're saying, Burgoyne came over the top. Serve from Gaines. Driven ball. Bartlett dumps it over herself. Odo gets there but can't keep it alive.
In the match for your Falcons, number 25, Katie Mansfield.
Katie Mansfield checks in. It's 21-10.
Alyssa Bartlett serving.
Mansfield, the junior out of Linwood, Washington. Alyssa Bartlett to Gennady. Tran over for Hooker. That one off the hands of Meisner, who has been somewhat victimized by the Falcons today.
Mallie Donahoe serving.
22-10, Mallie Donahoe to serve. Donahoe, Meisner, Bartlett, backside Vernoy, flipped up, Donahoe digs, Tran sets, Odo hits that back across, Gondrzik there. Bartlett back for Gondrzik, and Gondrzik puts that down line beyond Mansfield.
Serving number 9, Rachel Gondrzik.
Gondrzik to Odo. Tran, Odo pushes it past, and that ball still gets it back across the net, but sails over the far sideline.
Last touch by St. Martin's at a point for the Falcons. John Amin and serving is Gennady.
23-11, Amanda Gennady to serve. Kamaka blocked at the net, and it winds up rolling under.
Meisner will serve.
Courtney Meisner, Odo, Tran, Chibanov. Bartlett, backside Vernoy, into the hands of Donahoe. Chibanov floats it over and scores. Match point coming up for the Falcons. Haley Gaines checks in for Mansfield. Simone Tran serving.
And the match, here we go. Falcons fans, get up.
Tran in for Kamaka. Bartlett. Kamaka back cross court, scores off Gennady.
St. Martin's gets the point.
So on we go. Megan Vernoy will serve. That standing serve from the back of the gymnasium. I think if the wall was 2 feet further back, she'd be back there in 2. Ball from her, in for Gennady, it drops in. Tran to Gaines. Meisner there. Bartlett. Kamaka, blocked at the net. Meisner. Bartlett. Kamaka off the top of the net. Odo. Tran wants Gaines. She punches it. Meisner. Kamaka back in for Donahoe. Tran sets. Chibanov strikes. Meisner keeps it alive. Gennady. Tran all the way for Odo. Cross court off the ceiling and scored. And in straight sets, SPU takes down St. Martin's by scores of 25-21, 25-17, and they win set 3, 25-13. The Falcons now have won their last 12 consecutive sets and 4 matches as they improve to 4-1 in GNAC play. 6-6 overall. The Saints fall to 2-9 and 0-5, still looking for their first win in conference play. 33 straight matches SPU has now won against St. Martin's. A final look at some of tonight's statistical leaders. Gabby Odo finishes with a match-high 12 kills. Haley Gaines has 9. Ililana Kamaka with 8 for the Saints, and Molly Sehos with 5. As far as assists, Simone Tran quarterbacking things for the Saints, for the Falcons rather. 35 assists for her. Amanda Gennady was next for the Falcons with 2. 12 for Alyssa Bartlett, 8 for Hannah McKee, 2 for Jordan Keene. As far as St. Martin's goes, 5 aces for Alyssa Bartlett. Good night from behind the line for her. Amanda Gennady and Maddie Batiste each had 2 for the Falcons. And hitting percentage, Alyssa Bartlett led the way at .250 for the Saints. Simone Tran, .666. Chibanov, .429. Gabby Odo hitting .393 on the night. And finally on digs, Saints, Ilana Kamaka led the way with 13. Alyssa Bartlett with 7. Courtney Meisner, the libero, also with 7. Gabbiota with 11, Natalie Donahoe with 11, and Amanda Ganetti, the libero, with 9. That's going to do it. Falcons win on straight sets. They host Montana State Billings here at 7:30 p.m. Again, half hour later than normal due to New Student Week. And we'll have that match for you here on SBUFalcons.com. Once again, Falcons win 3-0. Thank you for joining us. I'm Andrew Harvey saying so long. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you next time.